the Redskins have the ball. First and 10 at their own 46. They have a 7-0 lead. We have 7 minutes, 38 seconds remaining to be played in the half.
371.
Harmon and Howe into the setbacks. Theismann. Going long to Muck. Art Muck. Art Muck's got it in. Art Muck for a touchdown. Art Muck, 54 yards for a touchdown. The rookie's second touchdown of the year.
He just kept running down the sidelines. Theismann looked around, had plenty of time to throw the ball, and let it all hang out that time, and Monk just beats Kenny Green for the touchdown. Excellent throw by Theismann. Take a look. Rolling in the pocket, getting outside of the rush. And you see the time. You see him right now looking back to the left side of the field. And he has time enough to get himself set. And he makes a very accurate throw. And you see that Kenny Green had taken his eyes off of Art Monk. And Monk gets in for the touchdown.
Mosley boots the extra point, and it's good. The conversion is made as a penalty marker. So McCarty says hold it.
Hold everything.
Cardinals are indicating that the penalty is against the Redskins. Theismann is getting into the conversation.
Hey man, caught Whitesaki trying to, he likes to get in there and make a little hit outside there because he protects on the outside. Well, when you've been sitting there watching a little bit, you like to get in a pretty good lick on this extra point.
Personal foul indicated against the Redskins.
I don't think they're going to be out of Mosley's range, do you?
Wouldn't think so. Ricardo puts it down to the 17-yard line.
I think
so if you don't make it up close, you make it back far. And the score is 14-0. So that is a one-pointer. And the Washington Redskins have gone out in front by a score of 14-0.
This Christmas card was sent to you by the people at Miller High Life. Merry Christmas.
Well, we're well into the holiday season, and from all of us at CBS Sports, we'd like to wish you the very merriest of holiday seasons.
I hope you have a nice holiday season too, Mr. Nelson.
Doesn't get cold in the Washington area, does it?
It doesn't? You've been listening to Gordon Barnes.
The Redskins kick it off. Mosley boots. Harrell is waiting. He's got it at the 6-yard line. Back to the 10 to the 15. Harrell up to the 20, and he hits the deck at the 21.
Tell you, in talking with Mike Lloyd about playing his football game and getting his first start, he said he wanted to convince the coaches that he can play in the National Football League. He said he's not intimidated by anybody. He's going to have to get out a new game plan if he's going to do that.
I was going to say, if you're going to play quarterback in the National Football League, you got to be able to complete the pass, and he is 0 for 9 so far in the air.
Look at this score. Minnesota leading Houston 13-3 now with 8:40 left in the second quarter.
Lloyd incompletes his pass, making 0 for 10. Otis Anderson had it for a second, but not long enough.
He was 4 out of 15 last week in the second half against Philadelphia, but he had 3 or 4 balls dropped. And I'm sure right now, being 0 for 10, he'd like to get a completion under his belt. Bet you there's another man also that would like to, and that's Mel Gray, who has a lot of games going. He's got 104 straight games catching a pass. Look at this. Patriots coming back now. It's 10-10.
We're not going to get into this because it's like quicksand if you try to explain all the playoffs, but Pittsburgh can be the wild card club only if New England loses, Cleveland and Houston win, and the Steelers defeat San Diego.
Would you say that again?
Anderson. Out to the 27-yard line. Gain of 6 on the play, makes it 3rd and 4.
Or another big game. Cincinnati leading Cleveland 10-0 now.
Cleveland can win the division title with a victory over Cincinnati.
Seems like all the teams that are supposed to play because it's meaning something aren't playing so well. Vice versa.
It's true. If Cleveland loses, Houston is the division champion no matter what the Oilers do against Minnesota. Otis Anderson. Across the 30-yard line, penalty marker on the play. Rich Malott on the tackle. Penalty marker down on the play.
No, a holding call. Would you like to get a holding call when you just almost get a first down and you go back and now you've got 3rd and long and you're 0 for 10 as a quarterback.
And your hands are cold.
Your arm is cold too. I think he's given up on his microphone.
I was going to say, microphone doesn't sputter anymore. It doesn't do anything. Penalty has declined. Total passing yardage, the Redskins 124 and the Cardinals zip.
And that's why the score is 14-zip too.
Swider is back to do the punting. Mike Nelms is standing on his own 30-yard line to field it for the Redskins. 6 minutes, 29 seconds left in the first half. Redskins are out front 14-0. Nelms retreats. At the 19, he has it. 20, 25, 30. And to the 33-yard line. So the Redskins, after that 50-yard punt, will have the ball 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line.
This man leads the good life. He puts on his bow tie, he puts on his tuxedo, and then he puts on his Accord LX, our most luxurious Honda, with features like variable assist power steering, digital clock, and air conditioning as standard, with plush seats and deep pile carpeting. So, for people who lead the good life, the car that leads the simple life.
Honda, we make it simple. Just to call National Sports for all the latest reports. We're talking National Sports News, we've got it all. 900, what a wonderful call. 900-976-1313. 900-976-1313. Dial it, we're talking to you.
Get ready for the bowl games. The Sun Bowl has Nebraska facing Mississippi State. New Year's Day, it's a Cotton Bowl for Baylor and Alabama. Then Miami meets Virginia Tech in the Peach Bowl on CBS Sports.
At the conclusion of this game, most of you will be seeing Philadelphia versus Dallas. As your 1st and 10 for the Redskins at the 33. Coming across. Monk. Penalty marker, and the ball is at the 40-yard line.
We're going to get some kind of illegal block here. I think Jeff Williams coming out, throwing the block on the screen. Ooh, a clipping. Don't you like to have somebody 6'4", 255 pounds coming at you from behind to hit you? Theismann's 8 out of 11 now. have a correction on Lloyd. He's instead of 0 for 9, he's only 0 for 6 because they call him being sacked on a couple of the balls that he released.
Ball goes back to the 22. Jeff Williams. First and 20.
That's how cold it is. One side of his face is frozen up.
That's right. He's been over to windward on that side. Harmon finally gets set. Hamilton motion across. Harmon. Got 2 to the 24-yard line. Rush Brown on the tackle.
Well, I like that name, don't you? Rush Brown.
I do.
He's a rushman, you know. That's what they call those defensive end, the rushman. The Raiders leading 17-3 now.
An Oakland victory over the Giants would clinch at least a wild card berth for the Raiders. Only way the Raiders can be totally eliminated is to lose to the Giants while New England wins the AFC East title and Cleveland, Houston, and San Diego all win. You got that?
I got it. You're going to have to speak a little slower.
Heisman pumps. And he's hit just as he's trying to throw the screen pass. Stafford Mays got there, number 76.
When he first came around to throw, he was pumping one way, coming back, throwing the screen to the other side. When he wanted to throw the ball, take a look, you'll see him fake the ball one time to his right. But when he comes back to fake the ball to his left, here's the fake to the right. But when he gets ready to fake it to the left, then the man isn't out, so he has to reload. By that time, Stafford Mays gets to him, forcing him to throw the ball away.
Third down and 18 yards to go. On the left side, Warren right. Muck. Hard Muck. And it's going to be a first down for the Redskins on Muck's catch.
That's throwing into coverage because you realize you got a great receiver. This time he throws it right at the back of the defender. And you have confidence that the man's going to go up and catch the ball, and you see he just takes it away from Roger Worley. And that's tough to do against Mr. Worley.
First and 10 at the 45-yard line for the Redskins. Each of these teams came into today's game with records of 5 and 10. Hammond in motion outside right. Harmon up the middle.
Boy, did they ever stuff that play.
Didn't they? Mark Arneson got there. Second and 9 at the 46-yard line.
Monk's got 4 catches now at 93 yards.
Heisman. Pull down hard. Steve Niels.
They came with a blitz again that time. That time Joe didn't escape the blitz. Steve Niels gets him. Take a look again. Looked like he was trying to set up the screen to Bobby Hammond. Bobby Hammond got caught way inside. Niels had a lot of penetration. Big loss.
Third and 24 after 31.
Excuse me, Lindsay.
Ricky Thompson going to a wide left and Art Monk in a wide right. Heisman. And he's dropped again. And again it's Steve Niels. Same man. That brings on the Redskin punting unit.
Well, they've done a good job defensively. They've had a couple of lapses on the long touchdown pass of Monk. Their big problem has been with the offense.
Cardinals back to do the punting. Willard Harrell is dropped back to field it for the St. Louis Cardinals, standing at the Redskins' 48-yard line.
That was the 4th sack by the Cardinal defense on Joe Carson.
Harrell is at his 40. 45, 46. 42-yard punt, penalty marker on the play.
Well, let's see if it's when the penalty occurred.
Holding against the Washington Redskins.
A lot of times you have to be careful when you go back and make them take this punt over if you want to penalize them. You have possession right here. You can go back and make them kick this thing over again. And what happens? You get a defensive penalty called on you, and you end up giving the Redskins an automatic first down.
I saw it happen only yesterday in Tampa, Florida, and it happened to John McKay.
Well, it looks like this penalty is going to be assessed after possession. What do they call this? A post-possession foul?
That sounds good.
You never explain that. Why are we trying to listen to him?
What he said was they're going to take a time out here, and then when they come back, it's going to be 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line of the Redskins for the Cardinals. See?
Let me tell you something about blue jeans. You get in a jam up here and you got real problems. That's why I always go for the best tools, like this saw and my Levi's blue jeans. You see, tree bark will chew through most anything, but these jeans bite right back. And Levi's blue jeans got a fit that's made for work, and that's real important when the changing room's 200 feet down.
We're doing something about it. We're working at making our energy last.
Sunoco wants to make every drop count for America. That's why we have a new pump for unleaded gas. It has 4 grades of unleaded, including economy, priced below our regular, which can save money for you and fuel for America.
We're doing something about it. Sunoco is making every drop count.
Tuesday on The White Shadow.
You guys are going to help me run a clinic.
But Coach Reeves falls in love.
What's not to like? She's bright. She's a nun.
Tuesday night.
Got a couple of scores, Lindsay. New England's taking the lead over the Saints now in the second quarter, 17-10. Cincinnati's leading Cleveland 10-7. Kansas City over Baltimore 7-0 in the first quarter. And Detroit leading Green Bay 7-0.
1st and 10. St. Louis Cardinals ball at the Redskins 49. Anderson and Theodis Brown, the running backs. That's Brown in motion outside. That's Anderson carrying. Take the reverse. Penalty marker goes down. Mel Gray was the man coming around to take the fake.
We're going to the gadgets. It's tough to win with gadgets when you're not executing your offense.
Illegal motion. That'll cost him 5. Doug Marsh, I think.
Oakland jumping all over the New York Giants. They lead 20-3 now in the second quarter.
It's declined. Second down and about 13 yards to go. Snapping back. Lloyd. Incomplete. Dave Steve, intended receiver.
Oh, and the fans don't like it.
Well, it didn't look too good.
Boy, Wait a second.
Mike Lloyd today getting his first NFL start in place of Jim Hart, who has rib injuries, and Hart did come out and warm up, and they left it up to him as to whether or not he would start.
Big thing this has an effect on, Lindsey, Mike Lloyd's play is how the St. Louis Cardinals will draft this upcoming draft.
Exactly. Lloyd is backed up by Rusty Lish, the former Notre Dame quarterback. Lloyd. He is in what you call the grasp and control.
That's the 5th time he's been sacked.
The natives are getting restless.
Oh, he's getting quite a bath in his first start, isn't he? Welcome to the NFL, huh? They come with the blitz again. Until you show a defensive team that you can defeat the blitz, they're going to continue to give it to you. And where was that whistle?
Slider is in deep punt formation. Helms it back at the 20-yard line. Helms is stopped at the 22.
I'm sitting here looking behind the Cardinal bench, the side of the field we're on. I do see Rusty Lish coming back to warm up a little bit. Maybe we'll see some of Mr. Lish. No, he changed his mind. He's just a little cold for me.
We have 2 minutes, 43 seconds left to play in the first half. The Redskins are leading 14-0. They have the ball first and 10 at their 22-yard line. Hammond carrying to the 25, cuts back to the 30, 35. First and 10 at the 37-yard line. Mark Arneson brought him down.
Well, they had success the first time they ran it. They got called back one time. It's the 3rd time they've run the same play on first down, and it's worked each time except for the penalty.
We are approaching the 2-minute warning.
Kansas City leading Baltimore 14-0. Still in the first quarter.
Jim Hart, injured quarterback, on the sidelines this afternoon. Back to the inside to Buddy Hardiman. To the 39-yard line for 2. Hammond has carried 12 times for 79 yards today.
Taking a look at Hart on the sidelines. I talked to him before the game. I said, don't be playing today. He only needs 71 yards to go by me, and I didn't want him to do that right here in front of me.
I understand. We have reached the 2-minute warning. Washington leading by a score of 14-0.
That arch represents a doorway to a new territory, a new life. I'm Mel Gray of the NFL St. Louis Cardinals, and I would like to show you some of the United Way volunteers that are helping the handicapped find a new way of life here in St. Louis. This is where the handicapped receive vocational counseling and rehabilitation services. United Way support makes this program possible here and in cities all across the country. How you doing, Robert? I know how important this work is because of my brother, who was a star athlete, until a car accident shattered this future, and at the age of 20 left him in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. It's not easy adjusting, but here, they're finding a gateway to a new way of life. I feel good in knowing that the United Way is always there, opening doorways for all of us, to receive help and to give it. And thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way.
The preceding message was furnished as a public service by the National Football League.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Sonny Jurgensen in St. Louis, Missouri, where the Washington Redskins are leading the Cardinals by a score of 14-0. The winner will finish 3rd in the NFC East. Identical records coming into the ball game. Just now the Redskins have the ball, 2nd and 9. They have it at their own 39-yard line.
Well, you might tell that 4th-place team, the team that finishes 4th has to play in Buffalo next year.
Mike Forte is in there now in the right set. Buddy Hardiman's in the left set. Asman throws to Hardiman. Hardiman at the 50, at the 45. 35-30. Hardiman. Finally hauled on by Roger Worley on the corner. Roger Worley, the last man, pulled him down at the 15-yard line.
Buddy Hardeman caught the same type of pass last year here against the Cardinals and had a big run for a touchdown. This time you see the safety blitz coming. Theismann read it perfectly, a little short pass, and then let Hardeman do the rest. There's nobody back there except one man on the other side of the field. As Carl Allen is chasing, Roger Worley is over there involved with a receiver. You see he has to come off his receiver and run him out of bounds.
46 yards on the play, and the Washington Redskins have taken a timeout. Theismann has gone over now in conference with Joe Walden, Jack Pardee on the far side of the field. 1 minute, 22 seconds remaining in the half, and the Redskins with a 14-point advantage.
Well, it sacked Theismann the last two times he had the ball from the blitz, and they came back and tried it 3 times in a row, and they get burned with it.
Theismann 11 of 15, 195 yards and 1 touchdown for the afternoon so far. So they talk over the plan of attack, see what they can get on the scoreboard in these closing moments of the first half on a cold day in St. Louis, Missouri. At home this year, the Washington Redskins broke even. They won 4, lost 4 in Washington.
Theismann had a pretty big game throwing against these people the first time he played against them. 307 yards.
Ike Forte is in the left set. Theismann. And it is deflected by Carl Allen. Incomplete.
Allen almost got called for pass interference here on this ball. He takes his right hand. We may be able to pick it up. Throwing a quick post pattern. He knocks the ball away with his left hand and almost put his right hand on Ickey Thompson's shoulder. The deflected ball goes up in the air, and Thompson got very quick to came very close to making a reception for the touchdown.
2nd and 10 at the 15-yard line. 1:17 time remaining in the first half. Forte and Harmon are the setbacks.
371.
Theismann. Incomplete in the end zone, deep in the end zone. Forte was coming over there. Tight end coming down the sideline was Warren. Kenny Harrison coming across deep.
Yeah, Harrison was trying to run a corner pattern, but he lost his footing a little bit and got tangled up with Allen and couldn't get back out. That's why the pass was thrown out in front of him, thrown away, not risking an interception.
3rd and 10 at the 15.
See those little pockets Theismann has in front of his jersey?
Yeah.
There's never room in front of my jersey for one of those.
I thought you had your hands in there all the time.
371.
Theismann. Touchdown into the end zone to Harmon. Lance Harmon for the touchdown. Mark Arneson covering.
Who was he covering? He beat him easily. Good pattern, good protection, just perfect execution. Or when you can get this long to throw the ball from a man coming out of the backfield to get him deep in the end zone away from the linebacker, and you see how easily he has him beaten. Easy touchdown for the Redskins, and they're making it look easy here in the first half.
Conversion attempt coming now. Theismann the hole for Mark Mosley. He's 3 for 3. As the Washington Redskins have gone out in front by a score of 21-0. 1 minute, 7 seconds remaining to be played in the first half.
Yeah, boy, got the big play that time from Hardeman on the short pass against the blitz. Then they took advantage of it and get another score here before halftime to lead 21-0. Another score. New England over New Orleans now. Benny Ricardo kicked a 38-yard field goal with 55 seconds left. New England leading 17-13.
A victory here this afternoon would give the Washington Redskins a season's record of 6 wins and 10 losses. Still their first losing season since 1970 when they finished the year at 6-8.
Heisman's got an opportunity to have his biggest day of the year. Said he had 307 against them the first time they played, which has been his most productive day so far. He's already over 200 yards. 12 out of 18, 210 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Mosley is teed up at the 35. Theodis Brown has dropped back with Harrell to receive the kickoff for the St. Louis Cardinals. Clock starts when the ball is touched by a member of the receiving team in the field of play in these last 2 minutes. Theodis Brown at the 4-yard line. He's at the 5-10, 15. Come back this way. And is dropped at the 13-yard line.
Ike Forte making the tackle. He held his ground all that time.
So the Cardinals start deep in their own territory at the 13 with 59 seconds on the clock.
We talked about having fun this last game like this, and the Redskins look like they're having some fun. I don't think it's too much fun for the Cardinals, though.
I think you're right. Mel Gray, who has not caught a pass today, comes wide to the left. Came into the game having caught passes in 104 consecutive games. Lloyd in the grasp and control of Coy Baker.
Coy took an inside that time rush. He usually likes the outside rush. Everybody plays him that way. This time he comes inside on George Collins. Beats him very quickly, and you see right there in his face. And where's that whistle? 6 sacks already for the Redskins. That's what they sacked Hart in the first game. They got him 6 times.
Washington Redskins take a timeout, 51 seconds remaining, and Lloyd goes over for a conference.
I think the Redskins remember what happened last year when the Cardinals went up to play the Chicago Bears. The Redskins get eliminated by the point spread in that particular game because so many points were scored by the Bears. And it actually cost the Redskins a spot in the playoffs.
The Redskins and their rooters, as rooters will, charged at the time, but they didn't think that the Cardinals really exerted too much of an effort in that ball game.
Well, I think they accused them of laying down a little bit, and if they want to lay down today, they're going to be on the short end of a big score.
Redskins with a 21-0 lead as we approach the halftime intermission here in St. Louis.
Another score, Lindsay. Oakland over the New York Giants near Scott Bruna hit Leon Perry with 45 seconds left in the half. They lead now 20-10.
Second and 19 at the 5-yard line. Lloyd from the end zone. Going long. Incomplete. Letting it out. Jarius White, the defender. Don Warren.
Jarius White had zeroed in on that when he was going for the reception that time. He had a better shot at it than the receiver.
Mel Gray speeding down the sideline, number 85. Third and 19 at the 5-yard line.
We're down to 45 seconds in the halftime. And the Cardinals do not have a yard passing.
Not one.
Detroit leading Green Bay 10-0. That's a halftime score.
Mel Gray again. Incomplete. And the hometown fans are not particularly appreciative of that effort.
You think anybody is?
No, not really. At halftime now during the intermission, we'll bring you up to date on scores and highlights, and keep in mind that this is the day when those scores are all important because there are so many games being played with playoff implications, and we'll try to bring you up to date. This is 4th and 19. Ryder gets it off. Nelms back in his own territory at the 43. 45. Reverses his field. 45 again. And to the 50-yard line.
Did you say 45 again?
Again.
He came back by it, huh?
Rod Phillips on the tackle. 52-yard punt.
Swider had a 41.7 average going into this game. His longest this year has been 66 yards. He's had 150 and 152 here in the first half. Before the game started, it looks like he's going to get a lot of practice at it.
I was about to say he's had a number of opportunities. It is first and 10 now with the ball just across the midfield mark. Clock starts on the snap, 26 seconds. Heisman pumps once, goes long. Headed for Warren, incomplete. Roger Worley on the corner.
Well, they're applauding an incompleted pass.
Well, you got to applaud something.
Well, watch the time that Joe Theismann has here to throw the football. He pumps. He gets a little movement there from Kenny Green, number 37, and tries to go deep to Warren, and almost made connections on that one.
19 seconds. Time remaining inside upper right in your screen. That's the official time. Second down and 10 yards to go. Harrison in the wide right. And it's complete. Through the 40-yard line. Harmon. I beg your pardon, Forte. Ike Forte. Baker and Arneson made the tackle.
And the Redskins going to use a timeout here.
And it'll be their final timeout.
If they got in field goal range, I think they'd let Mosley, leading 21-0, I still think they'd let Mosley attempt a field goal.
3rd and 1 as Theismann goes over for further conference. The 11 seconds remain to be played in the first half of this game, which has been dominated by the Washington Redskins.
I was talking to Mosley before the game. I said, how do you keep your feet warm on a day like this, isn't it? Isn't it tough to kick on a day? He's got a big boot that he puts his foot in on the sidelines over there to keep warm.
I wish you had brought us a pair of those.
I was wondering, I asked him if he had any extras.
I had a report this morning from a fellow who said that you were here one previous time when you sat down and got some socks on up from the equipment room.
I did. Got a little nippy here.
3rd down and a yard to go.
385.
Heisman completes it to Forte. Out of bounds, 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line, maybe 33.
They're going to give Mosley an opportunity, and Mosley has made 13 of his last 16, and all his misses have been over 50 yards. Matter of fact, he's made 15 of his last 20, and they've all been over 50 yards.
Cardinals, 34-yard line.
This one is going to be a 51-yard attempt. Theismann holding for Mosley, 51 yards. 6 seconds on the clock. Nope, not today. Goes over at the line of scrimmage, but time ran out. On the kick, so we have reached the halftime intermission. And the two teams head for the locker rooms to, among other things, get warm with the Washington Redskins holding a 21-point advantage at the end of the first half. And the St. Louis Cardinals, oddly enough, do not have 1 yard passing in the first half of the ballgame. That's unusual.
I'm sure that Jim Hart's going to have to hide in that dressing room at halftime because Jim Hannafin's going to be standing there looking him in the face and saying, "You want to try halftime?"
What about it? You're right.
Well, because they really suffered offensively in the first half without any completions, and there's no way they can compete in the football game not being able to throw the ball and move the ball in any way.
That's the end of the first half. Washington 21-0.
You're looking at the best dandruff shampoo money can buy because it's been clinically proven best. Testing at a major medical school proved it works faster, gives more complete dandruff control than any leading dandruff shampoo. It's Selsun Blue, The only leading shampoo with the anti-dandruff ingredient doctors recommend most. No other brand has it. Try Selsun Blue. It simply works best.
This ranch doesn't run without horses. And the horses don't run without you. But when you've hammered out a day's work, you meet up with Miller Time.
When it's time to relax.
Time for the best tasting beer you can find.
One beer stands clear.
Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer.
What to give a pain in the neck for Christmas? Well, nice hot water and massage are well-known soothers of muscular aches and pains. Therefore, the makers of the best-selling pulsating shower head suggest the Shower Massage by Waterpick. But if no one on your list has an occasional pain, surely you know someone who could stand some good, clean fun.
Tonight,
people ain't as broad-minded as me.
Archie Bunker defends his housekeeper's honor. And on one day at a time, Barbara drops out of school.
So now I'd like to hear both sides.
I'm dropping out of college.
Then on Alice, Martha Ray returns as Mel's mom.
Robbie and me were,
And
you little Dickens.
George Jefferson as Santa. Then on Trapper John, M.D., Dr. Riverside is charged with attempted murder. All tonight.
Back live in New York, I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Cross. Oh, how Bum Phillips wants just one more timeout and a half. For a team, it'd be just right because the clock runs out, and the Vikes, who played extremely well, lead Houston now 13-3. How about that job Bud Grant does late in the year? Green Bay and Detroit, Eddie Murray kicked a 41-yard field goal with time running out in the first half, so the Lions lead the Packers by 10 in a meaningless game. The story here, Oakland, of course, needing a win to get into the playoffs. They have lost Jim Plunkett to an injury. Young Mark Wilson now has come on, and the Giants got on the board an 11-yard pass from Bruner to Perry, so they're within 10. New England rallies to take a 17-13 lead on New Orleans, and Benny Ricardo kicked a 38-yarder for the Saints late in the second period in that game. Washington having an easy time of it against St. Louis. We'll show you a highlight shortly in that game. Meanwhile, the war of the day, and the Browns have come back to tie the Bengals at 10. In that game, Pat McAnally of Cincinnati took a terrible hit, but he has come back, and he is still punting for the Bengals. Meanwhile, Kansas City has put 3 touchdowns on the board in the first period against the Baltimore Colts. And Irv, I'll tell you, some of the scouts are looking around the league right now, studying the college films, seeing what they might do to help themselves next year.
Looking for the next O.J. Simpson. You know, the NFL draft isn't held until next spring, but the scouts long have had an idea about the college players they're interested in. Now, that all can change when all-star games tarnish All-American reputations and transform unknowns into stars. You'll see 4 of those showcases here on CBS. The Blue-Gray game, the Senior Bowl, the Japan Bowl, and the East-West game. But here with their career statistics are the picks of the litter.
All the football world loves a quarterback, and the scouts really love Neil Lomax, who put Portland State on the football map this year. Lomax completed more than 60% of his passes in spite of passing more times than any ranked quarterback in the country. Now, after Lomax, the scouts will look to Rich Campbell, who is ranked high, although he faces knee surgery, Tom Flick, Joe 747 Adams, who fills the air like a jumbo jet, and the best known of the group, Mark Herman. Running backs are in short supply this season. Number 1, South Carolina's George Rogers, the Heisman Trophy winner, who averaged 7 yards a carry against stacked defenses. He gained more than 160 yards a game. Now, you've all heard about Freeman McNeil and Jarvis Redwine. What about David Hughes, who led Boise State to a small college championship, and Marion Barber, a power back with good hands? There is a crush of wide receiver talent. Now, along with his impressive statistics, Stanford's Ken Marjoram is a 2-time consensus All-American who has caught 1.5 miles in passes and worked out of a pro set throughout his college career. You'll see Mississippi State's Mardai McDowell in action against Nebraska in the Sun Bowl Saturday. All these picks play for major colleges. Now, one man makes this a good year for linebackers. He's Pittsburgh's defensive end, Hugh Green, second in the Heisman balloting, Lombardi Trophy winner, and likely to be shifted to linebacker because of his size and speed. You'll see all these men in bowl games this year. E.J. Jr., the heart of Alabama's defense and the team's only All-American, will go against Baylor in the Cotton Bowl. Interior linemen don't even get their pictures taken, but the scouts are eyeing Pittsburgh's offensive tackle Mark May. He's a consensus All-American, the Outland Trophy winner, and those two standouts from Houston represent 550 pounds of defensive tackle. Defensive backs reap rewards, but they make their mistakes right out there in the open. And opening eyes throughout his college career is USC's Ronnie Lott, who was named the Trojans' most valuable player this season, most inspirational player, and defensive player of the year. Right behind Lott, Kenny Easley of UCLA, and also the scouts think highly of Dennis Smith, who was Lott's roommate at USC.
Irv, what about Joe 747 Adams?
Listen, his head coach had Joe Gilliam, of course, who played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he says Adams is a much better quarterback than Gilliam.
Now, if you were New Orleans with the first pick, what would you do?
I go with Hugh Green. I make him a linebacker and he'll become a superstar.
I agree.
Okay.
The NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
If you've asked Santa Claus to bring you a Jeep, or if you've decided not to wait for Santa and have already bought one, 60 Minutes has a story you don't want to miss tonight on CBS.
Irv just reminded me, whatever happened to Detroit's theme song? Another one bites the dust. There was a disc jockey in Detroit. He popularized a new tune the last few weeks. Another one kicked our butts. But today, anyhow, Irv, Danielson got to Freddie Scott here for the touchdown, and maybe the Lions will force the Packers into the dust. Meanwhile, Washington and St. Louis, and oh, how the Redskins have dominated the Cardinals. They got on the board first with a 1-yard touchdown plunge right here by Harmon. Then it was Theismann to one of your favorite rookies, Art Monk.
Boy, Art Monk, who the Redskins feel have all the skills to become a super receiver. Theismann, by the way, on the first half, 20 passes, 14 completions, 226 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's touchdown pass number 1.
Now here goes Theismann to Hardman. Meanwhile, what are the Cardinals' offensive statistics against the Redskin defense?
Well, the young rookie quarterback Lloyd has thrown the ball 9 times, has not completed one, so therefore no yardage in the pass through the air.
Let's show you another Washington touchdown here. It's Theismann, Clarence Harmon in the end zone, and the Redskins running away from the Cardinals in what could be Jack Pardee's last game. Oh, watch this pass by Tommy Kramer of the Vikes. Going down, he hits Mike Sensor against Houston. The Vikings have dominated this game. How about Ahmad Rashad?
Well, here's a guy who's made clutch catch after clutch catch for years and does it again.
Then it was Kramer on the play fake with time going to Joe Sensor, and it was 13-3. And so we're right down to it, aren't we? The 16th and final week of the regular season. Party's just about over for a lot of teams, but with all the talk about the playoffs and the Super Bowl, it is easy for all of us to forget what fun football can be, how dramatic at times, and let's celebrate that. It can also be a tough game. Now, the word from the Meadowlands is that Jim Plunkett is back warming up on the sideline for the Oakland Raiders, so he probably will be out there quarterbacking the Raiders, who lead the Giants by 10, 20 to 10. Let's send you back to the stadium now and the game you're enjoying on CBS.
And we're here at Bush Memorial Stadium in St. Louis on a cold afternoon, and the Washington Redskins have dominated play here. And at halftime, they are leading the St. Louis Cardinals by a score of 21-0. This, of course, the final game of the season for each of these teams. There are no playoff implications here, with the Redskins 3 touchdowns out in front of the Cardinals at halftime.
I looked at Datsun 280ZX and Porsche 924 because I wanted a refined sports car. Then I looked at and drove this new Mazda RX-7, and that's all it took.
Just one look. That's all it took. Yeah, just one look. That's all it took.
The Mazda RX-7 keeps getting better. Even the mileage is 24% better than last year. And the more I looked, the more I liked the looks of its price.
The more you look, the more you like.
STP, a big name in racing for nearly 20 years. STP oil treatment on the track in some of the world's most expensive engines. Around the track, around the world, every day, tens of thousands of people get STP oil treatment. Get it for your car. Satisfaction guaranteed. Around the track, around the world, STP oil treatment is #1.